My name is Lee. A few months ago, my family packed what we could carry and drove until the road itself seemed to forget where it had begun. We arrived here, clean streets, quiet corners, polite smiles like identical keys on a piano. It looked perfect, and for a moment I wanted to believe perfect could hold us. On my first walk, the town stared back at me with the same smile copied again and again. Blonde, light brown, gray-beige clothes, the same tilt of the head, the same brightness in their eyes that didn't quite reach the soul. I felt like the only note out of tune in a beautiful but wrong song. School smelled like new paper and old silence. Rows of uniforms, neat hair, calm faces. I sat next to a girl and said, "Hi, I'm Lee." She smiled politely and answered, "Hi, nice to meet you." I asked, "In which district did you move from?" She froze, then said, "I don't remember." At first I laughed, thinking it was a joke. But soon I realized she was serious. I tried again with others. A blonde boy, a brunette girl, a red-haired boy. Every single one gave me the same answer, with the same wide smile. I don't remember. It was like speaking to mirrors that reflected nothing behind the glass. Even the teachers erased sparks of difference. A girl drew a heart in her notebook, and the teacher scolded her harshly, as if she had committed a crime. I clenched my fists. The silence of this place was not just strange, it was dangerous. One day, in the hallway, two girls leaned close and whispered, "Don't stand up for." Others, "It will only get worse." Their fear pressed against me like a wall I could touch. Then my book slipped from my hands, as if the world itself wanted to introduce us. A boy bent down to help. His hair was black and messy, his jacket dark blue. He looked straight into my eyes, not past me like the others. "Thank you," I said. "You're welcome," he answered. Then, quietly, he added, "You noticed it too, didn't you?" "What?" I whispered. "They don't remember anything," he said. "That was how I met Eric after class. We stayed behind." He stood by the window, staring at the sky as if it could answer for the town. I sat on a desk and listened. Listening to him felt like hearing color in a black and white place. That night, he told me his secret. Every morning I wake up and it's all their faces, words, the shape of the day. But when night comes, it all disappears. The next day, I'm empty again. A mind with tides, memory going out like the sea, leaving him bare on the shore. "Every night you lose yourself?" I asked. He nodded, "But why do I remember everything?" He smiled sadly. "Maybe because you're not from here." We began to meet in secret. We walked by the edges of the town, talked about books, dreams, and little things that should have been ordinary but here felt rare. I memorized every minute because I knew tomorrow he would forget. Every evening we sat on the roof of his house, and I told him everything from the beginning, how the books fell, how he smiled, how my name sounded when he said it. I savored the first time, even when it was the 10th. Sometimes I wrote notes and slipped them into his jacket. Paper remembers even when people donned single quotes T. One evening, he read one of my notes and looked at me with different eyes. "So, we love each other?" he asked. "Yes," I whispered. In that moment, I felt that he remembered. But happiness was short. Adults began to notice. Teachers asked questions. My parents grew tense. "Lei, why are you always with that boy?" "He's strange. Forget him." Safety, they called it, but safety felt like silence. We couldn't stay. We planned to run away. I packed a small suitcase, just enough for a sweater, a photo, and my courage. That night, I waited for him at the old station. The fog clung to the benches, the train sighed metal and smoke. I sat clutching my suitcase so tightly, my knuckles turned white. Every sound a step, the whistle of the wind, the creak of iron maid. Me hope it was him. Minutes stretched into hours. The last train hissed and left. The platform emptied like a chest after a deep breath. And he never came. The next morning I found him at school. He looked at me with blank eyes. "Hi," he said. "Are you new here?" My heart broke, quietly but completely. Still, I didn't give up. Every day, I went to him and started again. "It's me, Lee. We met in the hallway. You helped me with the books. We loved each other." Sometimes he smiled, and for a moment his eyes lit up with recognition. But by evening, it was gone. Days folded into weeks, weeks into seasons. I retold our story under summer skies, beneath falling leaves, in the hush of winter snow. He forgot. I began again. Faith, I realized, is not remembering, it's choosing the same thing every day. One morning, I stood at my window and let the light touch my face. Maybe forever isn't a single memory. Maybe it is practice like breathing, like returning. Later, we sat together in a quiet place. I looked at him with tenderness. "I'll stay, even if every day is a beginning." He smiled awkwardly, uncertain, but warm. "I don't know why, but I'm glad you're here." The heart learns new grammar. Glad without knowing why. That night, I wrote in my journal, "Love is not only memory. It is a choice." Ink dries, but meaning doesn't. We climbed to the roof again. Orange bled into purple, the city below blinking awake. He sat beside me, breathing as if the world wasn't heavy. He smiled sincerely, without reason, as though happiness itself remembered him. Our hands found each other, fingers intertwining, holding on. Sometimes holding on is the only story that matters. From above, the town moved in gray patterns, every person identical, every step rehearsed. But we, different, colorful, alive, sat apart, choosing each other in defiance of forgetting dawn. Arrived like a promise kept. We stayed together as the sun rose, writing us into a new day. He might forget again. I might have to retell the first page, but love is not only memory. It is a choice. And I chose him.